Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and I'm going to be talking about toxic positivity. Now, I first saw this hashtag on Tarot in the Cities video, who I will link down below in the description box. And basically, he got to talking about toxic positivity in concerning a Instagram post that he saw about through tough times to not do anything and let the universe take care of it. There shouldn't be no negativity in your life, and then if there is, to ignore it so the universe can actually heal it, so, to improve your life. And I thought this was an interesting topic to talk about, particularly with what I went through last year. So for those of you who don't know, I battled breast cancer last year, which included a mastectomy, having my lymph nodes removed. That's why I have to wear this pressure garment. And so, when it comes to toxic positivity, when you're going through an illness that can often be very terminal for some people, you do get a lot of that type of thing. So, Instagram anymore, so I couldn't actually go onto Hey House and have a look at it. I tried to look on it without having to reopen the, download the app and everything like that, but I couldn't see it. Now, I do believe he's based in the UK, so I could only look at a few posts, and that was it on the computer, so I'm not too sure how long ago this was. And also, it went on to when you're talking about toxic positivity as well, they have a lot of, particularly on Instagram, Facebook and that, there's a lot of people who advertise courses like, you can fix your life, for anything to how to create content on your social media apps, how to do shadow work and everything like that. And I've always noticed that the so-called experts of these particular courses, a lot of them look like that they're still in high school. So, they haven't had any life experience. If I'm going to do a course, I want somebody who's at least in their 40s, 50s, who's had some life experience. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And this is also, this toxic positivity has also come up in actual tarot decks. Now, I had some money, and I decided that I would splurge on a deck, because I brought myself a deck for a while, because I didn't really read much last year when I was sick. So I thought I'd have a look, and I couldn't find anything. There was absolutely nothing that I liked. And by that, in saying that, there are so many toxic positive decks out there. It's incredible. And by that I mean decks that have changed the tower. They changed the name. So the tower, it might be I can't even think of the tower, but death is one that I can think of. Transformation, they've changed judgment, they've changed tower. My meaning is that they've taken all the cards that can have some difficulties attached to them and changed them to have less confronting words, which is really stupid in my opinion. I'm just going to say it. Death is death. Sure, it's about transformations and things like that, but death can also mean death as well. It can literally mean a death, And I remember reading, a long time ago, about a tarot reader who had the death card, the Ten of Swords, and all sorts of things, and she decided that she would just say out that, that there's, someone's going to die, and she said, I'm really glad you said that. I've been to a few tarot readers and they haven't mentioned it, but my father is on life support now as we speak. So, she was looking for that confirmation. Now, if we've got decks out there that aren't going to address the tough facts of life, we're all going to die, people. We're all going to die in one way or another. Now, when I was sick, I avoided reading the tarot, because really not so much the tarot, but Lenormand in particular, because Lenormand is brutal. It'll tell you like it is. So I did not pick up a Lenormand deck until this year when I knew I was okay. So the deck that I used, and it was only on an app, one a day, is the Shining Tribe. I just pulled this deck, this card on my phone, because, I was even too tired to just come into my room in here and do readings. So I would pull a card a day on the app, unless I was going to the doctor, because I learned that the hard way, pulling a card on a doctor's appointment. And I wish I could find it in here. I've been looking and looking for the card. But the card that I actually pulled up was the Tower card, okay? So this was the first appointment with my breast surgeon that here it is. So it was the first appointment with my breast surgeon once I got diagnosed with cancer. And I pulled this card, the Tower, and I'll just put it a little bit closer. Hopefully it's not too shiny. So there you are there. So looking at this image now, I get a better insight. But basically, when I got diagnosed, now if you look at the figure on top of the card, I thought, okay, first of all, I thought, what I got to do to get better, and I thought, right, start chemo straight away. And I thought when I saw my breast surgeon that that's what was going to happen. I was going to start chemo straight away, so the lightning bolts there, was the chemo hitting my chest, and so I could get better. But that didn't happen. When I went and saw him, I had to have all these freaking tests. So I had to have, what are they called? What's it called? A mammogram on my left breast, plus ultrasound. I'd had to have body image scanning, and I had to have my whole body scan, because I had to make sure that it hadn't spread. Okay. And so, when I pulled this card, and I thought, oh shit, and then when I come back, we were shell shocked, because I just thought, right, you've been diagnosed, you go and have, you go and get your treatment. But of course not, now in hindsight, I know that, you have to check to make sure it's not spread. So then my eyes are now drawn to this. So he was very, very pleased. It was all contained in the one breast, besides my lymph nodes, and, and I decided to have a mastectomy. I actually wanted to have a mastectomy. He thought he would get away with a lumpectomy, but I always thought, had in the back of my mind, that I ever got breast cancer, poof, I want the breast removed, and I've never regretted it. So I did not pull a card after that when I was due to go to the doctor. But in saying, when you go through such a life-changing illness such as cancer, there is a lot of toxic positivity that actually goes around it. So not only, that they're changing the names, that really gets me, how they change the names. I mean, I suppose transformation for death is not too bad, but, I think it gets to a point where it becomes too much. And some decks have gone as far as to remove those cards, and also to remove court cards, because people find them too hard to read, But, so some decks will take out the court cards, change the names, and I think that's toxic. I really, really do. You can't have all love and light, all right? There are some people go through some dark shit and dark times in their life, okay? And you need the cards to reflect that. So when I look at that Tower card now, and when I think about how, I went to my first appointment after being diagnosed, and how everything happened, I'm glad I pulled that card, because it gave me hindsight. It shocked me out of my apathy that all I had to do was get treatment to get well. Well, that's not quite right, isn't it? You have to, of course you're going to have to do scans to make sure it hadn't spread, but I wasn't aware of that. But it made me sit up and take notice when I pulled that card in the morning. And then in the afternoon, when I had a look at it, I could see what it was telling me, okay? Of course I was shocked, but there was a reason for it. And it's really, basically, what's in the bottom of there is to make sure it's all contained and it hasn't been spread. I'm trying to do it that way. It hasn't been spread. So you need tough cards. And that's why I always say, for those of you who want to learn Lenormand, unless you are prepared to hear it like it is, don't read it, because Lenormand is much, much more brutal than tarot can ever be. I kid you not. It's a very, very brutal deck, Lenormand. It's not for pussies. It really, really isn't. It's like the great late Bette Davis says, growing old is not for pussies, and it's so, so true. And when you're going through some major changes in your life, you need dark cards to reflect that. In saying that, I am not totally against positive cards. Please don't get me wrong. When I was sick, I just used that one a day, unless I had an appointment. I also got this beautiful Crystal Guardians deck given to me for a birthday present from Fairy Wren Whispers. So as you can see, it has got, actually this one hasn't, but usually, I'll pull a card that has. So it's got like a little bit shiny, there you go. So it's Jasper. It's got a picture of an angel on it, and then it also says, unlocks blockages, ability move again. Heals heart-related issues, relation problems will solve now. And then it's got a little book that goes into a little more detail. So what I do with these cards, I pull one a week, and I just keep it up on on the bookshelf at the back there. And if I've actually got the crystal itself, I'll put the crystal in front of the deck. So, I had a lot of, now I'm a pagan, I'm a witch, and before I knew I was sick, I got a lot of messages from angels, but I thought it was for other people, because those of you who follow me for a while will know that I used to scry with crystals on the channel, on my channel, which I haven't done for a while, and I feel like doing again, actually. And I saw a lot of angels in there, a lot of wings, and I used to say, oh, you know, for those of you who believe in angels, you know, there's going to be support for you when you go through something, never realizing in 100 years that it would actually be for me. So angels made a big appearance in my life, and at first I found it was very, very hard to connect my witchy side, to connect my pagan side, to working with angels. With actually, it's really quite simple. So I brought myself another deck of which I've edged. I never showed that one too. I edged that one in the hot plate. These are actually highlighters. I've actually highlighted. So these are all highlighters that I've edged my deck. This is the Archangel Fire Oracle, and the reason I got this one is because she actually talks about working with the darker energies of the angels. So it's actually got a colour in here, which I've never seen with angels, and that's the black. And let's just see about the black ray. So I've never heard of this, so I'm just going to read from the book on there. So it just says Archangels of the Black Ray. So the colour is flame, is black. Like white, black contains all colours. The chakra location is galactic core, 0 point. Healing qualities are neutralising negative energies, harmonisation, protection, overcoming fears, manifestation, comfort, nurturing the shadow. And then the crystal associations are obsidian, black tourmaline, shungite, black diamond, essential oil, black pepper. It's got a star, constellation, the galactic core, the black hole, and then also she's got some sigils there on the bottom. So this was the first book ever, angel deck ever, that I knew that actually had the black ray. So it delves into, so the first card is Serial, the dark night of the soul, often described as one of the fallen angels and the brothers of Lucifer. Serial is an archangel, can help uncover the hidden blessing within darkness, and I was really attracted to that, and I've never ever seen an angel deck like that, because all the other angel decks that I ever heard of were like Doreen Virtue, which I did many years ago, own one and gave it away straight away, just too much religious bullshit for me. And this isn't like that. All these cards, it was a channel deck, so everything was channeled that she did, and it's just completely different. It's not all love and light. It delves into the dark side as well. It does exercises that you can do to connect with the angel. It's absolutely fabulous. So this is a positive deck, but it's not a positive deck, if you know what I mean. It will touch on the darkness, and I feel this is what all decks should be. They shouldn't be so toxically positive that people can't relate to it. You can't hide under a banner, under a ray of love and light for your whole life. You really can't. You need cards to reflect the darkness that we go through at times in our life. And of course, I've got this deck. I like this deck, and this was How to Be a Wildflower deck, because let's face it, when you go through something like cancer, you know, sometimes you need, actually that's not the one I want to get, I've picked up 2 cards. You need just something a little bit positive, okay? And these are not too bad. This is I long for salt air in my hair. So, you know, it's just nice little phrases, and I just needed something a little bit gentle when I was going through that. So don't get me wrong, I'm not against positive decks at all, but I am against it when they seem to just be all, you know, when they change tarot decks to reflect that, like there's no, oops, I dropped the whole lot, like there's nothing, like there's no darkness in our life, you know, like, and there's people, and they're well-meaning, but when you go through cancer and you're bald, you feel like shit, you look like shit, and they go, oh, you look beautiful, you know, you look beautiful when you're bald and things like that. I think we need to, people need to realise that we need to acknowledge that, no, we don't. We look like crap, okay? I haven't got eyebrows, all right? These are penciled on. I'm hoping I can afford to get them tattooed permanently on one day. But, you know, the little eyebrows that I've had, I've lost, and I'm not going to get it back. I'll never grow hair under this armpit again because of my radiation treatment. I'll have lymphedema. This is going to be a lifelong thing, okay? I'll always have to wear these pressure bandages. It's just something that happens. And you just can't be positive when it comes to the side effects that cancer gives you, and the treatment in particular. And you know, if somebody says they feel like shit, and, you know, after, you know, their treatment or whatever, and then says, oh, but you look beautiful, and, you know, it doesn't look like you got cancer, it's not really helpful. Instead, you should just say, I'm sorry you feel like that. Is there anything I can do? Don't focus on trying to make everything love, light, and beautiful. When you go through chemo, now I had 8 rounds. The last 4 were absolutely fucking brutal because it was really, really strong, all right? So you lose the feeling in your fingers and toes. Sometimes people actually have falls because of it. I still get some tingling numbness even now in my fingers. Your bones ache that much. You feel like you've got a heartbeat in each and every single one of your bones, and it just goes warm, 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 and it just aches, and you can't, doesn't matter what you do, you stand up, you sit down, you lie down, there's no easing of the pain. It's fucking horrible. And usually it takes you 2 weeks to get over the chemo treatment, okay, until you start feeling a little bit normal, and then the 3rd week, you know, you've got to have it again. You have it fortnightly. I had it fortnightly the first 4, and then I had my mastectomy, and then the last 4 they done it 3 weekly because you needed that extra break. So, you know, it's fucking hard. I'm just gonna say it. All right? It's no picnic. It really, really isn't. So instead of being so toxically positive that, you know, oh, just let the universe heal you, like, right, if I had done that, I'd be dead, you know. And not only after that, after I had my mastectomy, I got septic poisoning. As soon as I got up out of the operating theatre, my PICC line was infected, and when they gave me, so PICC line is so, because your veins collapse when you have chemo, so they can't keep finding your vein to stick it in. So a lot of them get either a port in the chest or a PICC line. I chose the PICC line. There was an infection in that, and it pushed it, when I had my anaesthetic, it pushed it through my body. So when I went up there, I nearly died. And the doctor said, lucky you're in hospital. I had 5 doctors working on me to you know, giving me needles and that to get my heart rate down, kick my husband out. He was freaking out. It was, you know, and then I spent 3 days in intensive care. So it was a really rough year last year, but here I am. And, You learn who your friends are, and you even learn who your family are too when you go through something like that as well. And there's and this, you know, this toxic positivity. And I did see someone on, I think it was 4 Corners, who'd went through what I'd went through, and she said the same thing. You know, you're that weak, you get out of the shower and you just sit dripping wet on your bed because you haven't even got the energy to towel yourself dry. You need to get the energy to do that. It's just it's really hard, and you just don't need people to say, oh, but you look beautiful. You need people to acknowledge that you feel like shit, you look like shit, and just see if there's anything you can do for them. You know, is there anything you can do to them? I mean, you know, try saying that if we could all live with rainbows and unicorns and in love and light and never face anything. But when people do face things, you've got to acknowledge it, and you need the cards to reflect what you're going through. I needed to see that tower card when I went to see the breast surgeon. I didn't think I did when I pulled it up in the morning, but I needed it. And then in hindsight, now when I look at it, I can really see, you know, what I was thinking about that. Then the thunder was the rays that I thought, you know, I'd have that, because I knew I was going to have radiotherapy as well, and the chemo and everything like that. But, you know, that wasn't the case. But I needed cards to reflect what I was going through. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there who want the cards to say it like it is, you know, to tell them like... And people don't choose, and I hate that, you know, that it's God's will or the goddess's will, whatever your beliefs are. And what's the other saying? That the universe or God or whatever only gives you what you can handle, or... the old, you must have done something in your life to warrant this, and, you know, also all that sort of plethora of bullshit, to be honest. Positivity about being happy as well. So I suffered from depression for many, 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 many years, and my ex-husband was mainly the cause of it, mostly, because I met him when I was young. So I met him when I was 18, got married when I was 20. I had my first daughter at 21. So, you know, it was pretty young. We were together for 20 years. And I used to keep a lot of things bottled up, and that's why I think I actually got the breast cancer, because I just kept things bottled up. The toxicity has to go somewhere. So if you're one of these people who like to suppress emotions and don't speak up, I advise you to speak up, even if you go out and yell somewhere in the middle of a forest to let it out. Let it out, because it will literally eat you up from the inside. So be very, very careful what you think. When I finally got the jack of him, like really just sick of it, and I decided, you know what, I deserve to be happy. I am going to be happy. We had this massive fight. He wanted the house on the, because we were living in separate states, when the house on the market. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to bloody well do it. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. So I did it. And he was really taken aback, because then he'd ring, like usual thing, then he'd ring up a couple of days later, says he's sorry, blah, 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 blah. And I says, too late, put the house on the market. 2 weeks later, I met Aaron. And then 6 weeks, we got married. So it really snowballed. So when I made that decision to be happy, things did change. And it's not the universe that did it for me. It's because I wanted things to change. I wanted to be happy. I decided that I deserved to be happy. It wasn't the universe that did that for me, or the gods or the angels or anything like that, because you have to work at it, all right? Once I decided I wanted to be happy, then they will step in and they will help you, but they will only help you if you are helping yourself, okay? You cannot expect to just leave things and the spiritual side is going to help you. You have to want to help yourself before things will change. Once I decided that I had enough of being unhappy, my life has changed so much, like I couldn't even describe it. I couldn't even describe it. It's been so good. So I think, toxic positivity is a very, very real thing. I really would love to hear all of your thoughts on it as well, about it, because I think it's gone a bit crazy. People can't say anything with fear of offending people. I'm probably going to offend people with this video because I don't like the decks that change the names. Death is death to me, tower is a tower to me, judges is judgment to me, and justice is justice. And I think we need these cards to reflect what's going on in our life. We don't need it to be sugar-coated. When someone is going through something major like that, don't just say, oh, but you look so good. Oh, you look wonderful. Fucking acknowledge what they're feeling. Oh shit, you must be feeling like crap. Is there anything I can do? Can I cook for you? Or is there anything like that? I mean, this tarot community was absolutely fucking fabulous when I went through it. I had Kerrigan's Calden, who's no longer on YouTube, because I was very nervous about going under anaesthetic. She did a ritual for me with candles burning. I was actually joking with my breast surgeon when I was lying on the table to make sure he takes the right breast off. I kid you not. The fear went away. I could feel all the support and the love that every one of you gave me out there. I had complete strangers messaging me on Instagram when I still had it. I have a lady who emails me every now and again to check in and see how I'm going. It was absolutely wonderful. So wonderful. I just can't tell you. And that's the type of positivity that you want. You don't want to have it so love and light that people can't relate to it. But I really thought this was a very, very interesting subject, and I really would love to hear others' opinions on what they actually think about toxic positivity. Has it gone too far? I believe it has. I really do believe it has. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy and feeling good and trying to, bring good thoughts to you and good things to you, but you've got to acknowledge the darkness. A lot of people on the tarot community talk about shadow work and working with the shadow, but then if you're doing shadow work with I don't know, a deck that's only got love and light in it and it's got no darkness that you can actually connect to, well then how can you do shadow work? I mean, we've got the Shadowlands Tarot, which she specifically did for doing shadow work. I'd actually love to get my hands on her Lenormand deck to see how that actually reads. Maybe one day I will, I don't know, but yeah, there is a lot of talk about shadow work, but if you're avoiding decks that have got the nitty gritty cards in it, are you really doing shadow work as well? But anyway, that's enough for me. Until next time, take care, everybody. And if someone's feeling like shit, acknowledge it and just ask, what can you do?